Well, we're now about 2 weeks away from the moving wall's arrival in the northern tier. And leading up to that, we continue to hear from Vietnam veterans in our community.
And tonight we're going to hear from Thomas Reynolds, who served in Vietnam with the U.S. Marine Corps. Here's his story.
I was 16 in my senior year, and I turned 17 at the end of my senior year of high school. And when I got out, I was a little bit rowdy, and I got into some trouble. And I was told that if I went into service, if I didn't go into service, I might end up going to a place not as good as the service. So what I did was I was going to join the Marines. And the least amount of time you could join the Marines was for 4 years. And I went to the draft board, and I had my draft moved up because I wasn't scheduled to be drafted for a couple of years. And it worked. So when I went down for my examination to be drafted into the Army, they had a very large shortage of Marines, so they had Marine recruiters there. And guys that were over 6 feet tall, they grabbed them and pulled them aside, and they needed so many, and I got lucky and I got into the Marines, and they converted being drafted into an enlistment. I had a secure job, so before I went to Vietnam, I didn't have to go to Vietnam. Okay, I didn't have enough time left to go to Vietnam, and a quota came in, took my friends, and so me and 2 other guys went over to see how much longer we had to stay in to be able to go with all our friends. That's how naive I was, 18 years old. And I extended my enlistment so I could go to Vietnam. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got to Vietnam, but I was an armor, and I was a .50 caliber machine gunner, but I also had a license, and I was also an MP with a top secret clearance. So I had no idea what they were going to do with me, and they did not tell me what they were going to do. For a time, I was on night patrols and ambushes. And then during the day, I would still ride a 50 on a convoy to Phu Bai or Chu Lai. But then we got orders to move up to Dong Ha, right on the DMZ, and run convoys back and forth from Qua Viet, where we loaded up, to as far as Khe Sanh. We would go to Khe Sanh, Rock Pile, Camp Carroll, Kowloon, LZ Stud, all the hot spots along Highway 9, north and south, going from east to west. Everybody that actually served as a combat veteran in combat or in a combat area, they really thought everybody else was doing something much more dangerous than them. And it's a team effort. I came home in one piece, and I thank God every day. But there are so many granddaughters, daughters still living, a few widows, brothers and sisters, family members that lost a member in the Vietnam War. If they live within this vicinity of where the wall's going to be in Tioga, central Tioga County, PA, even if they live up in Tioga County, New York, if they somehow find out about it, if they could come, maybe it would help them get some closure. And I think that's the purpose of the wall coming here, is for people even like us to get a form of closure, because it comes in all different levels.